Monica in Raleigh, North Carolina, you think that businesses in other states should be paying sales tax?
I most certainly do, because if I order a product from, let's say I order a product from California or something, they are going to have to ship that over to my address. Now, they can use the post office, in which case they'd better be paying the federal income tax, the federal taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But along the way, to get it here, they are going to be using my roads. They're going to be using my health department to keep that truck driver healthy when he eats his meals.
Right.
My
your police department, certainly, to enforce the traffic laws.
Exactly.
Your fire department, in case his truck catches on fire. Your
all of it.
Your local cell infrastructure, so that he can keep track of where he is and what he's doing and who he's talking to.
And I think that he should be paying the state tax, but he should also, a lot of this is also what you're talking about is federal taxes as well. And they should certainly be forced to be paid federal tax.
But there's no federal sales tax. I'm an advocate of a value-added tax, but there is no federal sales tax right now. There's only federal income tax. In other words, if you show a profit, you pay a federal tax. But there's no federal sales tax. We're talking about sales tax here. And frankly, I have a dog in this fight, and I would lose if this happened, because we sell podcasts of our radio show, of our TV show. And, they're given away for free a week late over at whiterosesociety.org. And our TV show is free as a podcast on Apple. But this show that you're watching right now, if you want the actual audio without any commercial breaks and all that kind of stuff, tonight, at the end of the show, as a podcast, all 3 hours of it, it's available, but we charge for that. And we don't pay, to the best of my knowledge, we don't pay sales tax in the various states, and I think we should. And I know that the company that processes credit cards for us, that basically handles all the sales of those podcasts, that they have the ability to simply look at somebody's zip code and add, an extra 25 cents to the order, and,
exactly.
At the end of the year, add all those up and send the check to Connecticut and send the check to New Jersey. And I don't have a problem with that. I think that that's a reasonable and fair thing, even though there's no store in New Jersey or Connecticut that's competing with me in selling my podcasts. I still think that, and there's no delivery truck delivering it. It's still being delivered over the internet, and I view the internet as the commons, as part of our commons that needs to be protected. So. But Monica, excellent point. Thank you for calling and making it. I appreciate that.